Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are. Welcome. It is good to have you here as you all are starting to come in. Welcome you. So today is going to be a little interesting for us. You know, Linda and I have been working together for just about 20 years. And we have the saying that we say frequently, you know, it takes two, because, I have my strength, she has hers, and together we make it work. Lately, we've been saying it takes three, because we have Yuki. Well, sure enough, I got a note from Yuki today saying that, she's in the Philippines and the internet is down. So Yuki will not be with us unless it comes up and she surprises us. So no music, sorry, no music. We had planned to have it, but we don't know how to do it, Linda and I, but we'll take two to make it happen as much as we possibly can. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're calling from. It is great to have you. I thank you. And let's get started with a great day. How did you enjoy yesterday? Why don't you put some notes in the chat box? And anyone that's new, welcome to you, and tell us where you're calling from. And I do have a question for you today. So you can answer and fill in either of these. Today's question is, what does authenticity feel like? What does it feel like to be authentic? What are your thoughts? So yesterday was amazing. Thank you. Hello from Germany. Detlef, welcome. Feels like freedom. Super yesterday. Thank you. To be brave and strong. What does authenticity feel like is the question. And so you're saying be brave and strong, being true to yourself, being yourself. Feels being true. How does it feel? What does true feel like? What does it feel like to be true? What's the feeling? How else would you define? How does it feel to be true? Emotional barriers are down. Okay, that's good. That's good. Feels like freedom. Okay, I can go with that. Let me see up here some comments. Very good. Thank you for your other feedback. See that? What am I missing, Linda?
Feels like honoring yourself. Did you get that one?
Yes, honoring yourself. I like that.
Courageous and strong.
Okay.
And we got a second on that. Authenticity feels like being my genuine self, no chains attached.
Yay for the no chains.
Emotional barriers are down.
Great. Great. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed yesterday. I think we all had fun. I know I did. And I appreciate the comments you made. We do have a winner for the gift, which we'll announce as we end up the day today. And I congratulate you ahead of time. And so today we're going to be talking about what authenticity feels like, what it feels like when your authentic voice is talking to you, and how do you recognize that authentic voice. So I did some research about 9 months ago or so. And I talked to about 60 people, and I asked them what are the greatest frustrations, fears, and challenges as it relates to authenticity. And the response that I got that was the second most popular response that I got was the question of what does authenticity feel like? What does it feel like to be authentic? So I'm really glad that many of you have a lot of responses to that and some ideas. And, when I was asked that question, I didn't really have an answer. I had to really think about it. And I went back to when I was less authentic, when I really was not into really the degree to which I know myself now and am comfortable with myself. And I remember how anxious I felt. Someone mentioned yesterday about removing anxiety. But I had a high level of anxiety that I lived with regularly. And particularly because my choice of lifestyle in that my health did not allow me to really work full time the way most people do. And therefore I had to figure out how to be on my own and kind of listen to my voice and let that guide me. That is so insecure because there's no tangibleness with it. There's no paycheck at the end of the week, at the end of the month. It's just follow and just trust and just, live that way. So there was a lot of anxiety attached to that. But over time, that just diminished. The more I the more I tweaked myself. And I'm going to talk to you about tweaking probably on Friday. But tweaking is the process of identifying one small thing in your life to tweak, to change, and do it for 30 to 90 days and just keep tweaking. And as I continue to tweak my life over the period of several years, the anxiety just kind of went away. And the true authentic Norma stepped in a new way, which I'm really happy that I have found her, because we're having so much fun. And I think you had a chance to get to realize yesterday how much fun you can have also as you step more and more in your voice. And if you weren't here yesterday and haven't watched the video from yesterday, please watch it and step into your gibberish and have fun with it, because it opens up you to another view and angle and level of understanding yourself. And it really brings you a lot of joy. So in this class, what I'm preparing you for is for your future in terms of authenticity. What does it feel like to be authentic? What is it like living with authenticity? What is it like doing things that make you happy on a regular basis? To feed your spirit and to step into a joy that becomes an everyday natural occurrence, regularly living your life in joy. And joy comes more to you as you experience it. And it comes from feelings, and feelings are something that are experienced. So the more you feel joy, like yesterday, the more you step into joy, the joy that is yours to claim. Now, we feel in every day, we feel things, and we have our senses, which is the way that we feel. We have 6 senses, and they're all common except for one of them. So I want you to take a minute and just draw your attention to yourself. And what are you smelling? What's around you that you're smelling right now? What can you touch? What's around you that you can touch? What are the different textures that are around you? How do they feel differently? How do you touch them? Do you caress them? Do you grab them? How do you experience touching? What do you see around you? Are you in a room with no windows? Can you see outside? Do you see trees, flowers? Do you see clutter? Do you see organization? I was on a call last week or so, and it was a 3-day program, and the guy said, "Everybody take a picture of your computer space." I said, "No, I'm not taking a picture of my computer space and put it on Facebook. No, it's not organized enough. I never want you to know this is how I do things." But some people were, they live in a more neat environment. What's your tolerance for that? What do you see when you look around? What's your environment like? What do you hear? Besides my voice, do you hear my heaters on each side of me? Do you hear anything in your environment? Is there a dog barking? Is there music going on in your background? Is there noise in your mind? What are you tasting? Are you drinking something? Are you eating something? What are you experiencing? What are you feeling? That's your authenticity. Those are the things that are very real to you. It's interesting, in the 5 senses, in the 6 senses, there's one, of course, that is not well recognized as much as the other 5, because we all see the same thing pretty much. We might interpret it differently, but we kind of see the same thing, kind of touch things the same. We kind of hear things the same. But our inner sense, our 6th sense, is so personal. It's not standardized. What you feel when you touch something may not be what I feel when I touch something. When Lynn touches something, or Agatha or Fiona, it may be different than what Cindy touches. So it's different, and you can't standardize that. Maybe that's why it's not well accepted, because it's so individual, it's so authentic. So being connected with your feelings is an important way of connecting with your authenticity. That comes from your inner voice, from you speaking to yourself, from you connecting with yourself. And a lot of what I'm talking about on this Authentic Voice Challenge is how you connect with your inner voice, and giving you tips to do that more effectively. So let's practice a little bit. So there are 3 questions that you ask yourself every single day. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to sit very comfortably. Don't take notes right now. Just sit and be comfortable. Because I want you to turn on your right side, creative side of your brain, and let go of the logic. Just set it aside right now if you can, and just listen to your heart and listen to your body. And close your eyes and focus within and listen to yourself. I'm going to ask you 3 questions that we each ask ourselves each day. And I want you to feel how the answer comes to you. Okay? The first question is, what time is it? Don't open your eyes. Feel the time. Just feel it. Now I want you to think back to this morning or last night when you decided what you were going to wear right now. How did you get that answer? How did you feel about what you were going to wear today? What you're wearing, what does it make you feel? How does it make you feel? How did the answer come? Now, the third question is, are you hungry now? When did you last eat? How did you or do you or will you decide what to eat? How does it come to you? Now, in a minute, I'm going to ask you to grab your pencil and write down how these things made you feel. So you can do that now. Open your eyes, grab a pencil or get your computer and write down how you felt when I asked you what time is it? What were you going to wear? What are you going to eat? If you just joined us, we'll be talking in just a minute. People are writing some notes from an exercise. We'll be catching up in just a minute. And when you're done, just look up so then I know that you're ready to move forward. I see a few of you are done. A few of you are still writing. I'll give you another minute. And so what we're talking about is our senses and the connection between authenticity and your 6 senses. So I want you to look at your list that you just wrote about what you were feeling and what came to you, and identify which of your senses you were most impacted. Which did you use the most? Which did you mention? How can you interpret those? Which are the 6 senses? And just write it. When you see what it is, put it in the chat box, please. Sight, Shelley said. Inner sense, Agatha. Okay. It's funny, Jennifer, how you can actually tell the time internally. That happens a lot. Time to be with Norma, Shirley. Yes. Lynn's going to be doing gardening later. Okay, that makes sense. Touch and hearing, inner sense. I feel amused. Okay, inner sense. What I will wear with 6th sense. Okay. So this is all you connecting with your authenticity and how you feel, because every single day you ask yourself the question, what time is it? What am I going to wear? What am I going to eat? Because if you look at how you get the answer, you get a sense for how your voice, your inner voice, your authenticity speaks to you. You know, this morning as I was deciding what to wear, you know, I didn't usually, well, my old self used to plan every day, I'm going to wear this, 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 and this. But I didn't. I have a closet, as Linda would tell you, a closet full of orange. And I hadn't decided what orange I'm going to wear. And it's a little chilly. So I have to, and I'm cold in the morning. So I have to put that in mind. So as I'm going through my closet, and then Linda asked me today, she says, well, why are you wearing a jacket? Because, you know, I used to always wear suits. I was raised in a family traditional where you always dress a certain way, which I did. But as I become more authentic, it's changed a bit. But this particular suit, when I saw that in my closet today, I said, what am I talking about today? I said, oh yeah, I'm going to wear that, because this is the jacket of the suit that I bought when I lost 30 pounds. I went to a resale shop. Yeah, I went to a resale shop and saw this beautiful St. John's in Lethan. Yes, orange is my color. And it was orange and it fit so good. And I felt so good. It still makes me feel this way. I have spots all over here. The cleaners cannot get the spots out, but I will not get rid of this jacket because of how it makes me feel. Because I know that when I feel the way that this jacket makes me feel, I've got spirit on my side. I am in alignment with my authenticity and my connected self, my inner self. So what makes you feel that way? How does your voice speak to you? How do you respond to it? How do you hold on to the feeling? How do you recognize the feeling when it comes to you? First, you got to know what it is. So that's why I wore this jacket today, because I know if I wore it and talked about it, I would get the grin that I get and the feeling that I got when I first bought it. What gives that to you? That is a way to look at how your voice is speaking. So let me see, I got excited and moved my script. So let me move my schedule back to where I need to be. Let me see. So I want to just take a minute and talk about what I call unseen supporters. So authenticity, to me, true authenticity is when you have synchronicities in your life all the time. That your sense of law of attraction is working overtime for you. That you can think things and the unseen supporters around you are so aligned with you that they scamper about to do what they need to do to help you make things happen. So you heard people say that life is based on thought and how your thoughts create your reality. Your thoughts come from your feelings. It's your feelings that make you say, oh, I don't look good in that, or oh, I didn't do that right. And it's your feelings that say, oh, you look great. And it's how you change your story. It's how you view your life. It's how that comes across. So your multi-sensory is the connection to your authenticity. Your multi-sensory in the senses perspective, which many of you said, is your connection to your unseen supporters, to the energies around you, whether you call it universe or spirit or Holy Spirit or God or ancestors or whatever you call it, or just life. But there is a part of life that is not as visible as the tangible things you can touch and feel, like your coffee cup that someone mentioned earlier. I'm talking about the things that you feel in your heart and that you feel in your spirit. And what you want is you want for that to be connected in such a way that you are aligned with it. And that's what I'm teaching you this week, to also get more aligned with how that inner voice and the unseen supporters, that connection happens to make your life on go, to make your life more synchronistic, to really step you into your authentic voice and being the person you were sent here to be. So, okay, let me see. Any comments I need to respond to or questions, Linda, that have come? I know you're doing double duty. So anything that you,
No, I just was going to comment to Lynn that I liked her message that clean the lenses of your glasses you look at yourself through.
yes.
I think that's a great statement. So thanks, Lynn.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. So, okay, let me see. So the question is how your senses tell you how you listen, whether you listen. Now, listen is not just ears, you listen through your eyes. Because when you see something, you kind of listen to it in terms of your listening is the interpretation. How are you interpreting what you're seeing? So you listen through your not only your let me go back. Listening means you're learning, you're observing, you're assessing, you're scoping, you're examining. If you look at the thesaurus for listen, it talks about accept, admit, attend, get, observe, take notice, tune in. Okay. So how do you tune in? Do you tune in by way of your ears or your eyes or your touch or your sixth sense? So what we're going to do, we're going to break into groups. I'm going to give you more time this time so you get a chance to share, and you get a chance to share how do you listen. So the exercise that you did, and some of you commented what was most popular, tells you a bit about how you listen. So in the breakout room, share how you listen. Just put 3 people in a room, Linda, and let's give them 12 minutes, okay? So that should give you a chance to meet each other, have a decent conversation, and talk about how you listen with each other. So someone please choose to be the timekeeper, and we'll bring you back and we'll give you a hint of when you have about a minute or so left. And enjoy meeting each other and going deeper and understanding more about how different people listen. All right, so we'll see you. Thank you.
Sorry, left then left. What is it? Left then right?
Left and left, yes. Need the back of
Left and left.
another, yes, 2 lefts.
You didn't get them all in the room, Linda? You need any help? Well, you can start putting in the chat box some comments from your experience, and tell us what tell us about your group and or something about what you picked up. What did you learn about your own senses? And just give us some feedback, please. So wigs do that for Shelley, that my clothes do, that I talked about. And
That was when you were talking about feelings.
right. And then your glasses. Listening with your whole body. That's exactly what authenticity is, listening with your whole body. We're going to talk about listening with the whole body also later on during the week. The sixth sense. The sixth sense is just it's so powerful. Listening like a mission, a space you offer and receive. Deborah, that's interesting. Yes. You know, I attract empaths. I am one myself. For those that don't know what an empath is, it's a person that that connects with feelings of other people in a very intuitive way. They can feel your feelings. It's very, I work with a lot of empaths. We do have a dominant sense. That's a good conclusion, Lynn, that your group, she says her group concluded that we may have a dominant sense we use, but we do use all of them to some extent, absolutely. And Agatha's always listening with her whole self. Agatha's been around me for like 3 or 4 years now. She's been following me. So she moved from Poland to Canada, and she said that my work has just been resonating in her head. So thank you for the whole self. That's wonderful, great statement. And Grace, welcome, Miss and the Toastmaster and Muriel Toastmaster. Our question was, how do you listen? Listening is how we grow and come together and give peace, give space to do so. Yes. And Muriel says she too is an empath and has a dominant. Anybody else an empath on this call or that knows it? And some people are empaths and don't know that they're empaths. But I do attract empaths, people who actually have a feeling sense in a very, very deep way. Yes, there are hand wave for the Toastmasters. So do that while we're here too. Okay, good to see you. So I guess that was a valuable experience for you, and connecting more with your senses is really what another step to authenticity. So yesterday you opened up a bit, and today you can listen more and practice the listening and practice what it means to listen to yourself talking to yourself. Examine how and what you're saying to yourself. Those are some of the challenges you have in the homework tonight, is to listen in a new way. Listen to how you respond to time, and listen to how you feel time. How do you feel an hour? Those of you that are speakers, you need to be able to feel what 30 minutes feels like. So when you're told you have 30 minutes to speak, you speak for 30 minutes, not for 31, not for 29, but for 30. And certainly not for 45, because that is the worst thing a speaker can do, is go over time when there's a lineup of speakers and you throw everything off. You can't have that much ego. Your inner voice should be able to tell you and connect with you, even about timing. And look at how you feel when you decide what to wear. Do you get the joy of an old outfit? Are there some clothes you just won't throw away because of how they make you feel? And what else makes you feel that way? How do you listen to the feelings that come within you, interpreting those feelings? One of the ladies that's been with me on this journal of authenticity, this journey, Tracy Carruthers, has a book about the clarity of your thought based on your feelings. So how you interpret your feelings has a lot to do with your authenticity and your sanity, because it's how you interpret things that sometimes is what gets us in trouble. Someone said one thing and you interpreted it to be something else based on something inside of you that's off balance. So it's the balance and the alignment. We're going to talk about alignment on Thursday, and how you align your authenticity, all these little parts of yourself. Friday, I'm going to show you my authenticity grid and the 9 parts of myself that I saw that I had to pull together into one person, and how I can do a 360 of that and look at myself and do a self-evaluation as I go forward in my life, and how you can too. So authenticity is about managing those feelings. Somebody asked me once if you could edit your authenticity, and I said yes, and I really thought about it more, and I said, really, it's not so much editing as it is managing the authentic thoughts that come through you, managing how you filter them, how you value them, which ones you answer and which ones you do not. There's so much to it. It's not just go be authentic. It's really connecting deeply with yourself, connecting with how you communicate with yourself, connecting with who's living up in there and what it is they're telling you and how you're following it. And tomorrow I'm going to help you look at how you get clarity about the voice that speaks to you. Because what you want in the long run is a partnership with that inner voice, with your authentic voice. When you're in partnership with that voice, that means that you and your unseen supporters that are in partnership with you that you can't see and maybe don't even talk to or don't even recognize, but it means that you're all working together. So if you have the benefit of the unseen part of life that is there to support you, but if you're working with it and you have the benefit of what you've learned on your journey and you put them together, you have so much more opportunity to have success and to be authentic and to have authentic success. Not just the success people say is if you have a lot of money, you're successful, but a more whole body success. That means you've got your health, you've got the joy and abundance, you've got the financial wealth, you've got the peace of mind, you've got the clarity, you've got the confidence, and you know who you are. And you're stepping in and doing it. That's a sense of power that's unmovable, unstoppable. That's a sense of power that guarantees you're going to be successful. So what I'm giving you is what I've learned on my journey and the challenges I've gone through and how I've been able to connect with that voice at a very early age. Tomorrow, I'm going to tell you how I connected with my voice at age 8 and how I've had that partnership for all of my life and how it's grown. I'm going to show you proof of how it's grown, that partnership, over the decades. And the confidence it gives me to know that that exists in the world and that that is mine to call on whenever I choose to. And you can do the same. And it connects with being open first. You did that yesterday. And now you know a little bit more how to listen to yourself and listen. So your homework, or your inventory, I should say, is for you to examine, to be more aligned with your senses and be more aligned with what you might see, be a little more aligned with what you might hear, be more attentive to what you might smell or touch or taste, and be more attentive to the existential side of yourself and what you feel and sense. So you will get the recording of today's call. And you will also get the inventory, which you're to work on tonight to tomorrow. But it might not be at 12 o'clock like we promised, because we missed another leg. I mentioned earlier that Yuki, who's my virtual assistant from the Philippines internet is down today, so she's not with us. And she's the one who would be preparing for your things that you're going to receive. So Linda is on her own today. So it might take a little bit longer, but you will get it probably in an extra hour, give her an extra hour or so. I think Linda will tell you if that won't work, but I think that will work. So look for that. Watch the recording again if you choose to, but certainly step into your feelings and how you're feeling, how you're receiving the information that you tell yourself. So any comments or questions? I'd like to answer questions and do Q&A for the next 9 minutes that we have. So what questions do you have? Or what were some of the things that, and you can unmute yourself and you can just talk if anyone would like to do that. Rico, please go ahead.
Yes, I have a concern. Is there any way we can get that information other than going through Facebook? Because my account, for some reason, I can't access it.
Okay. You can't access your Facebook account?
Yeah. And that the customer service is just not there.
Well, first of all, I want to say that, first of all, if you want to say something, put the raise your hand button on the bottom of the screen, and that way I'll put you in the queue. So some of you said that you joined Facebook and you were not accepted yet. And so what I'm going to suggest is that for your postings for this evening, today, use the authenticity movement. You don't have to join. Just go to authenticity movement. There is a Facebook page. That's where Muriel posted yesterday. So do all your postings in authenticity movement. I apologize for those that attempted to post yesterday and didn't. If you wanted to post yesterday and didn't, please post today in authenticity movement, your yesterday post and your today post, and that'll give you double points, because we do have a gift every day for the person that is the most engaged. And by most engaged, what we mean is what you speak up in this time that we have in the next 7 minutes that we have. You put some information in the chat box, and or you post in the Facebook group. So for tonight, we'll use the Authenticity Movement Facebook group. Linda, would you put that link in the chat box, please, so they can just you can go there and then put the link, please.
Okay, I just put the link for the 5-day and I'll go get the one for the movement.
But don't use 5 days, because 5 days requires you to be accepted. And Yuki is doing that and she can't get access. So so for tonight, use the Authenticity Movement instead. And if you and as you put comments, put the hashtag Norma's Nuggets and put that in there, Linda, also, please. Hashtag Norma's Nuggets. So that way we'll connect and have that information. Now, as far as, can you get into that one, Rico? Or are you down altogether?
Anything that's connected with Facebook, there's no connection. I can't even get into my account for some reason. And maybe it's been hacked by somebody else, I'm not sure.
So
But
go ahead. But you can't, go ahead.
So I haven't tried the movement and Authenticity Movement. I will try that. Okay.
If anyone cannot connect at all, because someone said I think Shelley said she didn't have internet at all, you can send any comments or posts to to support@normahollis.com.
Oh, okay.
Support@normahollis.com. And Linda, maybe you can post them, per the person that sent it, and that way they get the post up. So other questions, feedback, you can raise your hand or just unmute yourself and speak up. We've got another 5 minutes. I'm going to give you all of your time. So you have no questions. I can't have been that thorough. There have to be some kind of questions.
I just put in the Authenticity Movement in the chat. And also, if anybody wants to download the chat, there's been some contact information, or if you want to download any of the comments, in the lower right-hand corner, the 3 dots, the ellipsis, I think that's what you call it. But you can save the chat by clicking on the 3 dots in the lower right-hand corner under the chat. And you can save it if you want to keep any of the information that you saw. Okay.
Okay, Cindy.
I just got to say, this has been great. That I really enjoy it. And I didn't realize until we went into our groups how much I listen as an empath. And through my body because of being an empath. So I never would have recognized it as listening. So that was really great.
Good, good.
How do you handle how do you use your being an empath with your authenticity? How do you keep it from how do you keep it being your own rather than somebody else's, picking up on somebody else's energy?
That's a good question. That's a learned experience that you have to practice. First of all, for me, I had to recognize, oh, that's not me, that's somebody else. I used to get a lot of car crash feelings. And then I'd hear later about someone that was in a crash. So I had to recognize that that's not me, that's somebody else going through that. And that was just a period of just a process of, I guess, I set boundaries for myself. Okay. And probably in some of that partnership that I talked about with my inner voice, that's probably a part of it, because there is some interaction between who I am and how the information comes to me. And how it comes to me is that empath thing. So having that conversation with the subconscious part of me that, okay, that's not me. Let me be more aware of that. Just please give me what I need to have for me. I want to be sensitive, but to be too much of an empath does take you off your path easily. So that's maybe somebody else has something. I see Lynn. I'm gonna tell Lynn to go next because she came up after you asked her, but I think she wants to comment on that. And then I'll get to Doc B in a minute. So go ahead, Lynn, please. Did you have another question, Cindy?
No, that was it.
Okay, go ahead, Lynn.
I think that trying to cater to other people's needs, no matter how you're doing it, can often put you off your own path. A friend of mine calls that noble procrastination.
Mhm.
And the other thing is some people, if they're on cell phones, won't be able to access the chat. So if they either put it in the general message that they would like me to send it to them and give me their email or private message me, I will send it to it after I've gotten it downloaded.
Oh, how sweet of you. Thank you. What a great offer. So if you're on a cell phone and you want to, maybe you should wait. And so what do you want them to do? Do they have access? They don't have access to chat.
If they're on a cell phone, they won't be able to download the chat. I've had that experience many times.
Mhm.
So if you want the chat, I will be downloading it. So just give me either your email in as a private message, or just post it, hey, Lynn, send me the email to everyone. And if you want to share your contact information anyway.
So how do they private message you? They have that ability.
They just go, where you go into the chat
But they can't.
on the bottom.
Or they can't save it. They can go in, but they can't save it.
They
the
can
cell-
go into it, but they can't save it. That's
Got it.
correct.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you so much. Appreciate your feedback and your offer. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, Doc V, how nice to see you. You're muted, yeah.
Hi Norma, hi everyone.
How you doing?
Well, I'm so excited that I was able to make it. My apologies for entering late and missing yesterday. We have some rollouts happening this week, but the Norma nugget that I heard that I just had to comment on, because I had not processed it in such a way, was just the whole nugget about being in partnership with that inner voice. That was really special to me, and I just wanted to bring that out and say how I appreciated that different perspective and thinking about it as a partnership, because
Yes.
that takes on a whole nother level.
Yes, thank you for saying that. So I'll be talking about that tomorrow and about my partnership that I started at age 8 and how it has really, it's guided my whole life. It has definitely and it gave me such wonderful, beautiful confirmation a few years ago that I just can't wait to share with you tomorrow. So it'll be a very exciting one. You see, I love this work and I love being able to share it. And the partnership is just so powerful. So creating your partnership, is what I'm encouraging you to do, every one of you. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Appreciate it. Yeah. All right, so we are right at the top of the hour. Perfect timing. Thank you very much. So you'll get the information within the next 2 or 3 hours. We won't push Linda, but she will get it to you as quickly as she can. Maybe we get lucky and Yuki will be back, but who knows? But in the meantime, we'll make it roll. So I will see all of you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock sharp Pacific time, and we'll talk about Red Sox and elephant. All righty. I'll see you then. Take care.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great workshop. Thank you, Norma, again.
Thank you, Muriel. My pleasure. Glad to have you here. Thank you. Bye, Tasha.